Maybe you bought a piece of property away from your home like I did. This is a video about my experience and what I would do if I had the ability to do it over. Originally, I was staying in hotels while I was down there with the thought I'm going to get a good night's sleep and a hot shower. I bought 51 acres in eastern Tennessee. The piece of the property we're working on is a smaller one you see here. So yeah, the hotels were about 40 minutes away from the property that I own. So I would say with commuting and setting up and all that, 2 hours a day were wasted on just driving around. To me, between that wasted time and the money I spent on hotels, it would have more than paid for good camping gear, and I may even have money left over. So this is what we have going on. This is actually a summer tent, and you can see it's being used in a winter setting. I've got a generator powering a 1500 watt infrared heater, little salt lamp going, and if you look behind the dog you can see some plastic. I put up 3mm plastic to help hold heat in. It actually just kind of blowed itself out like a hot air balloon. It was just kind of gorilla tape to the bottom and then anchored to the top, nothing special. 74 degrees, no problem, and it was like 25-30 out. Now we're in a summer setting. You can see the sides are kind of down again. The air conditioner will draw a vacuum, so you want those sides down so it's not sucking hot air in. You know, if you're out here working, you need a good night's sleep. If it's hot, you need the air conditioning. If it's cold, you need the heat. Now you need a generator to power it. So this is a good sized generator. If you're running the 1500 watt heater, you're not even at 50% load. This has a 30 amp plug. You need a 30 amp plug if you're running stuff like circular saws or table saws, high load items, because it will trip the 20 amp breaker. Even on this generator, it will trip the 20 amp breaker all day long. Very annoying. So the 30 amp plug is pretty important. It's a good looking unit, not too big. Let's talk about food. You know, if you're going to go out to eat and come back, again, you're wasting tons of time. I would highly recommend having food on site and cooking. And that being said, let's talk about a cooler. This is a great cooler for a barbecue, for beverages, but not for camping and storing food. You're going to be chasing down a lot of ice. This is a Cabela's polar cap cooler. It's supposed to be bear proof. You can see a little black button there for altitude. If it draws the vacuum, you can hit that so you can get it open, or so it doesn't blow open. Either way, pressure release, vacuum release. I got 12 days out of this, pre-chilled and all that. Maybe you can too. So let's talk further about cooking. This is a Coleman little gas stove. This works great. The only real drawback is the little propane containers. They're very expensive. They don't last that long. You can get a cord to adapt these, or a hose to adapt these to a 20-pound propane container. I would recommend a little stove like this and that. You're going to need some kind of cookware. This stuff I actually used when we were down there every day. This stuff was very durable, high quality, and it packs up into itself, which is really important because you don't want stuff all over the place or crates or all that. That kind of tucks away pretty nice and neat. And, if you're storing it, you're not going to lose stuff. You know exactly where it's at. I'll put links in the description for as much of this as I can. Now, you got to wash some dishes. You're going to need a shower. This is the Joolca HOTTAP V2 Nomad kit. It comes with the sink and the shower and a 12-volt pump if you need to get water out of like a creek or a pond or a lake. I have city water, maybe you have well water on your property, and I still use this item to this day. Now you're going to need some drinking water. This is the Berkey Royal. I got the carrying case for it. This is kind of overkill for a base camp or a camping setup. There are a lot of other cheap options out there. Maybe you want to, truck in a bunch of like the 2.5 gallon jugs of water or whatever, but I do use this in my off-grid setup. I trust this to filter the water. They're having some issues with the replacement filters. It's like a class action lawsuit. But yeah, so then you need something to sleep on. This is the Exped Mega Mat 10. This is the long wide version. I also did a review on this. I actually slept on this in this base camp setting for 3 years, and they replaced it under warranty for me. Highly recommend this. And then there's also the Exped, I guess it's a duo sleeping bag. They make different variations of that. But like, you know, you need to sleep, and you're not going to be able to do it if you're on a route with just a traditional sleeping bag. You're probably going to wake up feeling less than the best. And, you know, if you're in a situation like I was here, and, you know, you're pulling all these logs off the driveway and thinning stuff out, you're going to want to feel good. You know, it's one thing, like, I'm not trying to sound like you got to be glamping or anything like that. You know, this point right here is probably, I guess, early August. It's very hot. You'll, like, down here in East Tennessee, it's very humid. You're going to sweat through 2 pairs of clothes a day. But, you know, you got to recharge the battery. So if you want to put a good day's work in and be able to sustain that situation, you're going to need to get a good sleep. You're going to need to get a shower. You're going to need to eat some good food. And you don't want to waste your time, you know. So my opinion is, like, I don't have any affiliation with any of these products. I'm a nobody as far as anybody's concerned, you know, in marketing departments anywhere. This is all just stuff that I bought with my own money. You know, like, in regards to the Cabela's cooler, I think it's a lower cost option to some of the more expensive coolers that are out there with, like, fancier names. You know, Coleman is the tent and that little stove there. You know, they've been around for a long time. They seem to make good products. I got a lot of use out of that tent, and it is, I guess, considered a summer tent. You know, if you're using it in the fall and you have those sides propped out, and it's like really great ventilation. I was able to use this all year round, just doing a couple little modifications. But, like, again, you don't have to get these products. Now, I will say that those, like, stainless steel bowls and plates, that kit, and then the pot and pan kit, that's pretty decent. Like, you maybe wouldn't want to, but you could use that stuff every single day in your home, and it would hold up. I still use those stainless steel bowls and plates. Just like I'm off grid. It's not in a tent anymore, but I use those for cooking and eating sometimes. I think they're a really good item. But this is just kind of my 2 cents on the whole situation. You know, nobody can build a time machine. I always say you're better off to learn from somebody else's mistakes or experiences than to experience them your own. So if you bought a piece of property or you're looking to go off grid, I would suggest staying on the property. You know, you bought it because you want to be there anyhow. So yeah, so this is what I think. Get some good camping gear, even if you're just going to camp there for fun. Get some good camping gear and make the best of it. There's a time and a place to try and save money, and there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you can get some of the stuff, you know, like pre-owned, secondhand, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, get out there and enjoy yourself and just, you know, experience the outdoors. You may know more than I do, so just take it with a grain of salt.